He is an animal. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the next Onvermel Report podcast. Today, it's gonna be a little bit different. First off, we're not talking about the 90th anniversary Lego Idea Set. No, that's not gonna be the only thing. Second, it's only two of us, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two of us now. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be talking like that anymore. Someone's gonna get really annoyed about this. But no,
Subscribers.
today is just me, Onvermel, and to my left is going to be Zack-ta, just the two of us. Um, our dear brother Ek has other business to attend to.
Pressing
Much more
matters.
pressing now. There's a woman that needed him, and he has gone to her. He has gone to his woman, so we won't see him for a while, at least for a fair bit.
Of course, if we had women, we wouldn't be here either.
Oh heck no, I'd be gone. I'd be with
We'd be
her.
heck out of here.
I would leave you in the dirt, in the dust. You'd be gone. I really hope I don't get too close to this thing. It's kind of weird not having a table.
Yeah, we would be so far from here.
Like I would not even be near like spitting distance of you, which honestly is not that far to be honest. I can spit very far.
Oh, I would never be in spitting distance of you if I could help it, regardless.
But today's subject and matter, as Zack-ta mentioned last week, is that we're going to be talking about time cruisers and well, he thinks Lego should bring it back.
Technically, I don't think I said that last week, but I do say that is a statement I have. Lego should bring back time cruisers. Now, hear me out, Purple.
Maybe it's Onvermel, not purple.
Sorry, I was blanking on your name, so I went with the first thing I could
My
think.
own brother forgets my name. Oh well.
But now hear me out. When Time Cruisers came out, it was a recycle of themes, and we had, I'm pretty sure, within a general proximity, a space theme and a castle theme. Maybe not pirates, but
No, when it came out, I think the last bit of Pirates is still around. You still had Aquazone around. You still had Space around. You basically had like all the typical '90s themes all around, including except for maybe Wild West.
still all around. Now, however, with no unique themes really out there, if you made a Time Cruiser theme, you could legitimately have one set dedicated to castle, one set dedicated to pirates. Like, rather than having their machines, you could actually have the destinations.
See, okay, that's actually not a bad idea. Like the thing about Time Cruises is, okay, I, it's not a bad idea in concept. And I think a modern Time Cruiser theme would definitely be superior to any older ones because they would actually put, as you were saying, more emphasis on the locations rather than the vehicles. Because honestly, most people highly agree with Time Cruiser that it's a basically just a leftover parts theme that was hiccups was really weird and honestly the models were depending who you ask lackluster, but I think that was mostly because they had function over form.
Agreed. And like, just think about it. Like, a lot of things people would want is more pirate, more castle. No one has a problem with space. So having a Time Cruisers theme, you can like have an, I would say, the biggest set, a castle, like a full-on castle. Then like maybe a space set, or maybe like a moon base or rover. Maybe not even a pirate ship, but like some pirates burying treasure in a jungle.
Hmm. That'd be kind of nice. That'd be
Sheriff
nice.
Showdown could be the small
Sheriff
set.
Showdown, our part of this ain't big. The small set, just two dudes. The time traveler with two pistols and some desperado with two pistols, and that's it.
No, Paul, you can't forget the horse and the bush.
Ah, well, a stump. It wouldn't be a bush. It would just be a stump. Actually, I wish they still had the Lego stump piece. That'd be nice.
I am very happy and immensely glad that that early bunch of parts we got, I got that stump.
How did you wheeze? I guess probably go Michael. Michael
There
D'Amparo.
was a lot
It
of
was
good stuff.
probably because Michael was that the one like where there was like Black One figs in it. I know
I
was that.
That was it because that was also the one where we got the Wild West figs.
Okay, that's what I thought. That was a good one because that was like the first RoboForce fig I got. That was like Felicia got some classic Spacey, Jar got some classic Spacey, bunch of people. I got Jar got in a Royal Knight. I got there's some pirates. I technically got an Imperial Guard soldier from that. Jard has it now, naturally.
And I got two or three Blacktron's ones, some Wild West figs, and I can't and some town figs. I think that's where I also got like the guy with the truck on his shirt,
Oh,
the taxi driver,
oh yes, that guy.
and the Townsends.
Oh
The
yes.
Townsends. We got the Townsends there.
We did get the pencils. It was most level.
Bodie Townsend.
Bodhi Townsend.
Bodie.
Mr. Bodhi Townsend. But Time Cruise is like, I definitely think it's going to be a bad theme. I just don't know if Lego would do it again because like I don't know. I just feel like time travel is, Lego does, like every form of medium likes time travel. I'm actually kind of, now that I think about it, I'm kind of surprised they haven't done a time cruiser thing because it'd be such a cheap way to get all these other things people want without actually having to do them. I think the closest that we've had to like a theme where it has a bunch of other themes, like
The
Weasel,
Lego Movie.
basically the Lego movie where you had like the first one, you had like Benny Spaceship, you had like the Wild West plane, you had the castle set, like you had like
And Town.
and
Cannot
well,
forget Town.
so you had like a whole bunch of different other like kind of sub themes in big one like, and I guess they had something similar with the second Lego movie, but not nearly as much. I don't know. Take it away, Zach. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm just like it's like when Time Cruisers came out, we had all these other themes at the time, so having go to these times really was pointless. So they focused on the contraptions, and I used the word
Mm,
contraption.
they're very much contraptions.
But by doing it now, where there hasn't been a castle theme since when was it the last one? Like 2015?
Yeah, it was like 2015. Ooh, that's really cool. 2015, 2016, something like that. I don't quite remember exactly, but it was like easily like 5 years ago at this point.
It's been a few years, and the only space we've got, besides some of the space scenes I feel like are kind of weak lately, it's been Star Wars.
And the
So
Lego movie essentially
and
with
the
the one
Lego movie.
set.
So doing this, you could literally legitimately bring back old themes to this, or just reintroduce a castle. And if one set doesn't sell, the others might. Like,
We could use a nice good cheat theme for it's basically like Lego ideas, but like
as a
babyified. Oh, that would actually be really
like
cool.
think about it. Like Barracuda Bay is a big time seller. Having like a nice pirate set, a nice castle set with some time travelers. Though obviously every set would probably have to have some form of time travel. Of course, I'm not saying they should bring back Tim Cruiser and the Dock, though it's probably hard to get away from that. Just time cruisers.
Well, let's be honest. Back to the Future with Doc Brown has set a precedent for wacky old time travelers with their teenage companion, essentially. So the thing is, I kind of feel like for the most part, collectible minifigs have been filling this niche of getting a bunch of different themes like stuff because at least for the most part, it's adult fans I would say who mostly want all these other themes back. Kids don't know they want it yet, but adult fans are the one asking for it. But adult fans, for the most part, because they build their own stuff, all they really need is the figs. So it's like you get them collectible minifigs, maybe add like something here, then they're usually content enough. But I definitely think Time Cruisers would be, or a time cruiser theme, definitely could be a way for Lego to gauge whether or not kids would want, let's say, a pirate theme. Like if the pirate set sold really really well, then all right, maybe Lego goes, hey, these kids, they like themselves pirates.
We could do
We will make them more pirates, and it'll be how do you say minced meat? Very good saying. Thank you, comrade. Thank you for being on the show. This has been the Shark Tank, and we're going to be signing off. But I don't know.
Back to Aquazo Breakfast News.
Back to the Acquisition Breakfast News.
Trademark Michael Juice.
Trademark Michael Justin, yes. But the thing, I think they would definitely have to do like, yeah. I would think they would have at least one set as the the main what's it called, time travel model. Because I feel like they had a time cruiser theme. It'd probably be a theme that has a TV show or something. I feel like. So something like, let's say Hidden Sides or Next Nights, where maybe it's only planned for like 3 waves, but you would have like either a web series or an actual TV show. Because I think it would work really well, and you can get a lot of funny references into a TV show.
And honestly, that making a TV show would, I think, just help sell it. But given Lego's current trend, if it is their own theme, they will probably try to like have their own mini franchise with it. If just looking at Nexo Knights and does Hidden Size have a TV show?
Hidden Sides, if I'm correct, has like webisodes or something. There are like mini episodes, but they're not like I don't know if they're actually on TV, but I think they're like webisodes. So like they're shorter, but then their more whole thing is the whole app story. Like
Right.
I think there is some sort of story with the
Yeah.
app games you can play.
Actually, actually, on the hidden sides thought, like I think hidden sides is a great comparison. Like it's the Lego's own idea, and if you think about it, it's like they're going out supernatural, looking for stuff. This is more of the science side of like a supernatural show. Like instead of like looking out for these strange monsters, looking at these strange times.
Hmm. Yeah, and then Insides was good. Unfortunately, though, I think I might be wrong, but I think that Hidden Sides is actually on the way out now. So, which doesn't surprise me because I think on Lego.com, like most of the sets are like out of stock now. I was like, goodbye, beautiful sets.
But that doesn't mean it's sold poorly if they're out of. It's when it's on sale that means it didn't have a good run.
What I'm saying is like it's only been like two essential waves. Lego usually plans for three, so either it's getting cut
Uh,
short or I don't know. It's like I haven't seen it. I don't know if it sold really well. I haven't really heard anything about its sales, but
it might have been more
disappointing.
hit. It might have been more of a hit and miss, but I mean, Pharaoh's Quest. That one just shows that they don't always plan for more than one wave, and sometimes that's a real shame.
Okay, a theme like that they only plan for one wave. But I'm like anything that's story, like that more heavily story driven, like things with TV shows, like Ninjago was planned for 3 years originally. Chimo was planned for 3 years. Next Night was planned for 3 years, or at least three like sections, three like main like
Yeah,
batches of stuff. And then you got Bonko, which was only originally planned for three. And
3 glorious years.
well, I would say this: they planned for three, but they had hopes for more because of the whole Manui robot. They also had more
They had to
ideas,
get to
but they're
that.
like, okay, if this doesn't go well, we'll have 3 years planned. But if it does better, sweet.
We'll find a way around it.
So, what other themes were there? KK2 was a plan for 3 years, which it made three, but it was very much cut at the end. Um, yeah, 3 years. It's very, very sad. But at least that's the typical Lego go-to for like any like story-driven theme with like extra media that go along with it. So, man, that's like the thing about Time Cruises is I don't know. I feel like it would sell really like well enough. Well, certain sets would definitely sell well, and I think that would be the biggest gamble because like if you're not interested in the time travel aspect about it, you're probably only going to be focused on certain sets. So there might be like let's say a Wild West set. For all I know, that could be an absolute dud.
I would have to be inclined to agree, but that's the joy of this theme. It's like if one set doesn't sell, it's not that the whole wave won't sell. It's like maybe this one set doesn't sell. Okay, so we don't do Wild West ever again. But you have a castle, a part, a Wild West, maybe even a ninja set in there. One is bound to sell well, just because like this one will be interesting kid. If it's a good creation, people might buy it, or the fans just want it.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. But I think like if they did do a time cruiser thing, I think that definitely a castle for the big set would definitely be the best choice. But it's like again, like Lego's also using creator as a way to get through these themes. Like as EK was saying, like they've had a creator boat for pirate fans. They've had like this creator moon rover, which is very much it's a bit more spacey than it is like astronauty, but it's like classic space fans. This torso gonna like, and there was like that other set with the other droid. So it's like they get stuff
Yeah.
like, and if the rumors are true about the castle, then it's like Lego's giving all these other themes like with ideas and like create like and collectible minifigures other way for like those sort of themes to still have life. And I kind of feel like the only way they would really ever do time cruises is if someone had like a really good idea for like an actual story rather than more of a premise. Like if they have to be like, yo, I got an idea for a TV show, it's gonna be great. It'll be amazing. It'll be fantastic.
I feel like though if we got the TV show and we'll go with the three wave concept, it'd probably be like there'll be a castle show, I'll just say pirate show, and probably Wild West or space or something. But like each um
Season.
season would be a particular theme.
I would be surprised by that because a show about time traveling, you would have to actually be jumping around a lot more. Like I feel like you would more so like you wouldn't have a distinctive uh era that they constantly be to per season. But I feel like they'd be more chasing after a certain villain that he'd be like every episode you hop to a new location. Some like maybe the first two
Professor
like
Millennium.
maybe the first two episodes you'd have them like in like both in Castle Realms, and then you'd hop through a whole bunch later, and then maybe that they get the finale you'd have like two in the same, or they go back to like regular time. But like that thing's like I can really see a show like that lasting more than a year.
That's actually
Because time travel is also a very finicky thing to work around and
that,
make work.
that's this is like a leads into the question of would it be like we're chasing this person through time concept, trying to you're rushing through it, or would it be more like I think like Mr. Peabody and Sherman where it's like just travel through time and experience that time period.
See, it's Lego, so also then the sets need conflict. So I feel like there would be some sort of overarching villain
You go
for
to
the
the
most part.
you,
So
you go to the medieval ages, Lord Vladik, Cedric the Bull. It's chock full of rogue knights.
see, there's obviously like a lot of like characters they can use. Like every era they go to, they'd probably be like villains. But because they'd only be in that era for like an episode or two sort of thing, I feel like you would have to have some sort of overarching villain at somehow just to make it a bit more cohesive, and that way you can have the big bad at the finale or whatever, or at least have put him in the big set to make kids more want it.
I don't know. I can see going to the Pirate Realms and, the big batter, the Islanders, chaining you to be cooked at the stake.
Well, you definitely still have him. Like through most episodes, like the main bad's not as influential, but he's the one basically causing everywhere else to go for people to dislike him. Like everywhere they go, they keep bumping into like locals who like either want to throw him in jail. Like if they go to Wild West, all of a sudden the sheriff's like hell bent on throwing them in jail, and they're like, "What do we do?" Also, and then you see like the main villain basically just in the bar, just like he looks like a desperado. Like, well, I may have paid off the sheriff.
I want this villain to look like a revamped Baron, monocle and everything.
I just want a twirly mustache. That's all I really would want. Definitely Don Cruisers definitely would be a really good. If I would want them to revamp a set, Mystic Mountain Time Lab. I would love to see because I think it would be okay to have a central base of operations. Like if they're
Gotta have
instead of
home
instead of
central.
jumping like constantly to a different time era, they always jump back to the beginning, like to their time, then have to go to another place, then back to their place, then back to another place.
I feel something is coming to mind, like I think there's a Michael Crichton book where that's basically how it worked. It's like you went back in time, but then you had to go back, and if you wanted to go again, you had to come back to the center.
Back in time. But yeah, no, it was like, and Mr. Mountain Timeline, I think definitely was like, out of all the Time Cruiser, Time Twister sets, pardon, not Corona, hashtag not Corona. Um, like Mr. Mountain Timeline actually was, like, I would say, the best. Like, not, I mean, it was also the biggest, but it's also the set that was like, the functions didn't detract from the form. Like, don't get me wrong, the other sets I like how they look, but I would say they're way more out there in their wackiness that like they don't feel as cohesive. Mystic Mountain Light Time Lap, despite having sections of it that are obviously different, the fact that I think it can close and make a full building definitely goes a long way to make it cohesive. And just the idea of this like a laboratory in like the mountains that has like you know space like gear and then like the rocket and just like all this different stuff just there. I don't know. I just think the Mystic Mountain Time Lap, as I said, that honestly, if they made like a homage or revamp of this, that would be really cool.
It would indeed. Now, a question I now wonder,
Eh?
which was sort of posed to me by our dear brother,
Yeah.
would the main characters be like two, or would it be better to have like more of a group that you could sort of spread out so it's not like the same one or two characters in every single set?
I feel like there'd be four. There'd be the guy and girl teenager. There'd be like the old professor, and then you'd either have like the robot assistant or like the weird animal assistant or something, where you have like a like because also he's a scientist, he might have like I don't know some sort of like a monkey that can speak English, or he has like a robot that spews facts. I don't know. I feel like the likeliness would be I don't think there'd be two characters. Lego generally, as you said, spread out the characters, and I don't think Lego usually because even like Hidden Sides, I think for the most part still has like four main cast members for the characters rather than like so like and Ninjago's got like five or six main ones.
Four originally, but they branched
Four is
out.
very much 4 to 6 is very much Lego's mo.
I think Bionicle is what started that trend, but we can discuss that at a
I
later
would
date.
actually say Adventure started it. You know, because they had like Dr. Lightning, Harry Kane, Johnny, and Gale. And for them, and then the next year, I don't think they lost anyone. They didn't lose anyone until the third year when they lost Harry Kane, but they got Mike instead. Generally, four good guys, I think. And KK2 had four. Um, Galdor had like five. Bounco had six. It's like four to six is a very common like number. And even in TV shows, I think that's a pretty like sitcoms usually have about 4 to 6 or like six ish. Like Star Trek usually has about six main cast. Like it's a very consistent number where you can get a lot of different like types of personalities in it, and you know just have a bit more variety, as they say on the Variety Channel.
Yes. Though in regards to where the origin from, while you were right, I would say about adventures.
Your mouth.
Think about it. Bionicles had six of very distinctive colors. Since then, KK2, Ninjago, Nexo Knights, they all have very prominent, like, this is their color.
Okay, well, yeah, Bionicle definitely started the coloring, the color
Elemental.
coding, the color coding elemental habit of Lego like stories where like there's a color associated with the character for the most part. I mean, kind of, yeah, no, they very much started that because can't really do hiccups. I mean, they like technically you could say Throwbot started it, but they weren't like the main characters. They were just the characters.
No, oh no, you were right. Throwbots would have started that because while they weren't big, they were definitely emphasizing different elements, different factions, colors,
But
diversity.
like everything with Throwbots was basically prototype Bionicle, essentially. Like even how like the planets like split up to different biomes, basically like how Mad Nui is. So
Ah.
but yeah, but you know what? And it'll actually be funny if you had Time Cruiser and you like, let's say you made a revamp Miss Amount Time Lab, right? And in there you just have a Bionicle mask. Like, and in the show you may never see Bionicles, but like maybe the professor references that his older adventures, he went to this like wondrous world of like giant biomechanical beings, and so you never actually see it, but you like it's always there. Like that one mask, kind of like how the T-Rex is always in the Batman's cave. It's just kind of there. Doesn't necessarily get addressed, but just imagine seeing like a Anakaku just background of a missed amount of time lapse, like other time trophies that he's discovered or other adventures.
While Akaku would seem fitting for personal in-jokey reasons, and not so much in-jokey, just family knowledge.
It mostly made me think of a Quest for Matanui.
Okay, now it's in-jokey. But I think we'd have to agree that if they were going to do it, it would probably be the how.
Ah, I can see Kopaka being the next level most likely, just because Kopaka's typically fans' favorite, and because it's more of an Easter egg for fans, they can get away with not having it as the how.
Actually, I also want to say Mir, or maybe even like the Picari. Though the Picari, my logic is from the Hidden Side Magic School Bus has a Nua on it.
I think any of the six Toa are like equally like for Easter eggs. I would say all six are equally as likely to get an Easter egg, just because an Easter egg you don't need to think as much. Okay, which one's actually going to sell? You can just be like, oh, Easter egg. Which one do the fans would like the most, or which fits this the most? The fact that a Nua's in that is of that one hidden side. That's really really nice. I forgot about that. That means like one, two, I think four sets of Bonko references and stickers.
You know what they could do to really appease some fans?
Pray
Okay,
tell.
now this we'll just stick with the time travel theme. We go in time to some like Islander society, just a small set. They have a totem, and the face of the totem is an old bionicle mask because they were originally based on totems,
Well, oh
well,
yeah, and then like no,
idols or something.
a lot of stuff on original Bonko was heavily inspired by by like Maori culture
Yeah,
and such. So that
but
actually
like
kind of cool. That actually would be a really interesting little reference, just like the general how like print or shape on
I was actually thinking maybe even like maybe the Taraga mask like Aniwa's. Or no, Wanua's.
no
Wanua would be a
the
good one.
Ruru.
The Ruru.
I would say the Komau like no Camels like the
Oh
Komau.
yes, that would be
I
even
think that's one
better.
of the most like it's very round, so it looks more like a rock because it
Yes.
doesn't have holes carved into it, so it looks like the easiest to carve into something. Man, that'd be kind of
And
really
it doesn't
cool.
have those weird wires that Matau
And an
has.
Ewa as well. Well,
Aniwa,
an Ewa's
right.
got like the one,
But yeah, I
I think.
forgot about that one. But yeah, like Wanua or Nokama, like one of theirs, and like I think it would just be even more because it's not one of the traditional six Toas. It would just be all that sweeter.
Mm. Yes, we will find a way to get Bionicle into every podcast somehow. Face it, we just like talking about Bionicle and wishing it to come back. That's what everything goes down to. How can we make this into Bionicle?
Well, we did call well you called this the Onvermel report. If we weren't going to talk about Bionicles at some point, it would just be the
And
report.
I'm very proud of that fact that I called the Onvermel Report. Well, that was more so because the channel was already called the Onvermel Report, and I was like, technically, well, the podcast is called the T.O.A podcast. The channel's called the Onvermel Report. Hey,
And
look at this way. When I decided to do a different YouTube channel, everybody was going, "Hey, why'd you do a different YouTube channel? What's going on? Why would you do this?" So I'm like, "Fine, I'll put it on the same channel. You guys happy?"
and let's be honest, the TNN was already taken.
Townsend News Network, yes,
This
yes. That
TNN.
that was one thing I really actually didn't think much put thought. I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm sold on the name T.O.A podcast, but at this point, it's like, well, it's done now. What's done is done.
Well, unofficially and still on the table, the Knights United is still an option.
See, I feel like I would use that if we ever got to the like let's say we actually keep this up, we managed to actually keep this up for like a couple years, right? But then we started wanting to talk about other non-Lego related stuff. Then I would use the Knights United as the name of that podcast.
I mean, you can start that now if we have a non-Lego topic to talk about. So, got any in mind?
Not right now. I'd
Neither do
rather
I.
get this one going more consistently before I try tackling anything else. So yeah, just. But no, I'm keeping that in mind. We might do more stuff. Can I say it's really hard to keep on topic with time
Yeah, I was
cruisers?
gonna say let's turn back the clock and get back on topic with what the topic that can go anywhere, literally.
Yeah, you think something like time cruisers would be a lot to talk about? My problem is I didn't grow up with time cruisers, so I have a lot less of an attachment to them, and the themes weren't that big. Although I will say this, Lego has at least given us at least one homage to time cruisers.
They have.
There was one collectible minifig from like 2 series ago
Right.
who basically was a Tim fig. He had the green shirt with a T on it. He had like an electronics. He had a blue hat. Where it was like, unless you had the Tim minifig, you wouldn't think anything of it. But when you have them standing side by side, you go, okay, this is obviously a reference. A very simple reference. Like, he's not known as a time traveler or anything like that. He's just like a kid with a drone. But for those who knew Tim as a minifig and had that fig, they were like, yeah, that's a time cruiser, dude. So now that I think about it, I'm kind of surprised we have not seen a hypno disc randomly anywhere else.
That does seem like the most traditional and most prominent part of Time Cruise. And I was just thinking about, if they do a new time theme, would they have like an obvious hypno disc type thing in there?
I would so hope that they would have a hypno disc. Actually, one place they could have put one in was in the Baron's Manor, like that. I feel like that they had an evil orb. They could have easily had a hypno disc in there as well. I think.
They had the junk bot for crying out loud.
Ah, yes.
Which, can I just say, is very disappointing that it doesn't have a sticker or anything. It's just a blank.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that myself because I really, really want a jump bot with like a printed head and that we. Ah, for those who don't know what junk bot is,
You'll see a picture in the down
if you
below.
don't know, I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to let you figure this one out because if you don't know, go look it up. I'm not looking up a picture. Why? Because I'm being cruel for once.
If you don't know, I'm not going to tell you.
Classic, classic. Yeah. But definitely, I I think I just I don't know. Time cruisers. I could see it, like I can easily see it happening, but at the same time I can't see it happening. It's just like one of those things where it's like maybe just Lego and Legos really just put the two and two together and going, hey, there's a nice, cheap, easy way to appease people and hopefully get some kids buying this too.
I mean, it's definitely I would say as a concept would work much better now. And I mean, if they want to recycle parts, I would be so for just recycle all these parts. It would be. I really think it could be a big seller or a dud, but I'm going with big seller.
Mm. Definitely, I would just be happy with like even if it wasn't like a TV show driven one, but just like a single like one wave theme. You would still be able to get like generally one way themes usually have about 7 sets, I think.
That would be perfect.
Which is like so you got like castle, pirates, let's say space,
Wild West.
Wild West, a modern one.
Maybe even caveman.
caveman. Let's throw in and for the seventh, let's throw in
Let's go Aztec or something else.
Aquazone
Oh, the Aquazone. Where does that fit in the
or
timeline?
fish people.
Where does that fit in?
The far future, Joseph. After humans have left the world, there's fish people left.
I mean, this is also this is a way they could really introduce something that's obscure, like Aztec culture, or I'm really blanking on history, like Napoleon, something very
We,
Lee.
Lee.
But I was going to say I know there's something I was going to say.
Well, there's like, the Roman times, they haven't really made any
Roman,
sets. I
that's
think the only thing Roman related is basically being collected minifigs. There was like a chariot that you can get, I think was like a free with purchase from order on Lego.com or something. And then the Roman Colosseum, which I believe is the largest Lego set now for piece count. That is a freaking huge looking Colosseum. Oh, and we're just ending. Oh, Jar just walked in. Jar, just we have to end this podcast right now.
All right.
Abort!
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 Abort!